What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Joystick Ayrton. So it's been a little while. I've been stuck on Baldur's Gate for like the last week and a half, and I thought I would make a video just touching on its performance on the Rog Ally and on the Steam Deck. I had really good intentions to also include my GPD Win4 6800U model in this, but things have not gotten much better. So with that being said, let's go ahead and dive right in. All right, so let's go ahead and dive right into it. This is going to be a fairly quick video. We're just going to go over some quick benchmarks with the ROG Ally at different wattages, compare that to the Steam Deck performance on Baldur's Gate 3, and give you a little bit of my GPD Win4 update. So with that being said, I got a GPD Win4 back from GPD, and we're having more issues than I had with the first one. So I couldn't actually get Baldur's Gate to run but one time, but when it did, it was fantastic. It ran as good, if not better, than the ROG Ally, and it looked incredible on a 1080p 6-inch screen. It almost looked better than the 120 Hz ROG Ally 7-inch screen, and I thought that was phenomenal. I had a very good time playing it, but that thing is basically a brick at this point. And we'll talk about more of that in a later video with an update, and talk about kind of the ongoing discussion with GPD and other people that I'm trying to see if we can rectify whatever's going on with that thing, because I absolutely love that device. But Baldur's Gate 3 has launched, and it is the game that I hope changes things for the future. No microtransactions. It's a full 200-hour experience for you for $60 up front. There's no DLC coming. There's no major microtransaction snatches. It's just a good game, and I feel like it's 2007 all over again, and it's phenomenal, and it's sending devs worrying from other companies about what players are going to be expecting. And it's companies like this, game studios like this, and From Software that keep things going for us real gamers who don't just want loot boxes and overpriced monetization in every single aspect of all of our games. So with that being said, Baldur's Gate 3 Steam Deck verified. And it runs pretty well. It looks pretty rough, especially compared to the ROG Ally, and even more so on like your gaming PC, that it's absolutely beautiful. But with that being said, I'm going to throw some gameplay up here and let's talk about the benchmarks. Okay, so for benchmarks, these are relatively lax. We only have 5 different categories here. The Steam Deck at its normal 15 watts. It's at a 60 Hertz screen. The ROG Ally, we checked 10 watts, 15 watts, 25 watts, and then I also plugged it into the ROG Ally charger that comes with it for the 35 or 30 watt capability. So we're not talking huge differences here at all, but at the 10 watt silent mode preset on the ROG Ally, it was unplayable. Very jittery at about a 17 to about 15 watt average there. And it was just really rough. But as soon as you bumped that up to performance with 15 watts, it skyrocketed up to 42 frames per second. It barely moved a little bit, moving up with the 25 watt preset to 45, and then plugged in did absolutely nothing for it, getting me up to 46, sometimes into the mid 50s, and that brought that average up. Now the Steam Deck kind of saw an average of 33 frames per second. This was all over the place. Sometimes I saw as high as 51, but then drops as low as 17. But really it stayed in the mid 30s, sometimes hovering in certain areas around 40, 41, but very respectable. So the sweet spot for Baldur's Gate 3 on the Ally is definitely 15 watt performance. You're going to get far better battery life there. And then for the Steam Deck, you're going to be having a good experience at 33 watts, but I would just say the screen on the deck, it just does not look nearly as good as the ROG Ally or my GPD Win4. The Win4, I saw it upwards of 45, 46 frames per second at 18 watts. At 23 watts, I was hovering around 50, but then it was unplayable, crashing, and other issues inside of my 6800U device, so I left that off of the benchmarks. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump out of here and wrap everything up. Okay, so the game is Steam Deck verified, and it does play very well, but it is a little bit of a sore eye for me, especially coming from the 1080p displays on the GPD Win4 and on the Asus Rog Ally, and they look absolutely fantastic compared to the Steam Deck. And then if you put it on your high-end gaming PC, it looks incredible. It virtually looks as good as any game out there to date. So it is very difficult for the rasterization, for the power of the AMD CPU. inside of the Steam Deck to really give you a good picture. And not only that, the screen on the deck is just not as good. When it comes to performance, we're talking a fairly big number. We're upwards of 20% when it comes down to it being 33, upwards of 47 when it comes to the Rog Ally. The GPD Win4 was very close, and I actually think it looked even better on a 6-inch screen. So really disappointing that I'm not able to play it on that. But with that being said, the game is awesome. It runs great on the deck. It runs great on the ROG Ally, and it's awesome seeing these games, high-end PC games, working so flawlessly on all of these handhelds. It's awesome. I cannot wait for Armored Core 6. When Armored Core 6 comes out, I plan on having like a day one benchmarks video for the Steam Deck, the ROG Ally, and if miraculously I get my GPD Win4 working correctly, I will include that in there as well. Let me know what you guys thought about Baldur's Gate, this channel, this video, and anything else in the comments section down below, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.